Hello and welcome to the topic of critical reasoning. In critical reasoning cum analytical reasoning, we have two major sections in the syllabus. The first part of the syllabus is about emotional intelligence, and the second part is the actual critical reasoning. In the first part, the questions are framed in such a way that they will try to understand how we react to different situations. This is similar to a situation reaction test or a situation judgmental test. In the second part of the critical reasoning, the questions are asked in such a way that if there is a piece of information or if there is a paragraph, what kind of understanding do we make out of it? What are the assumptions that we can make out of it? What is the conclusion? What is the inference? These are the kind of questions that are asked in the second section. So this is the entire syllabus for critical reasoning come analytical reasoning. In this lecture, we will start with emotional intelligence and emotional quotient. As a part of your syllabus, emotional intelligence and emotional quotient can be divided into three different modules. We will have one class for one module. In the first module, we will understand the basics of emotional intelligence. That is, we will understand what is emotions, how to understand what is our reaction to a particular emotion, and finally, how do we control our emotions. So, the first chapter is all about understanding emotional balance and maintaining emotional balance. In the second chapter, we will understand various values associated with emotions. For example, we will understand what is motivation, what is honesty, what is integrity, the difference between honesty and integrity. Then we will understand what is loyalty, what is the difference between morality and legality. So, this is there in the second chapter or second module. And finally, the third module is about application of emotional intelligence in various situations. For example, application of emotional intelligence in stress handling situations, applications with friends, that is peer pressure kind of situations, team behavior and team dynamics, social ethic. So this is the third module. In this entire topic, the whole objective is to understand how we react to a particular emotion. Ideally, these are not just exam oriented topics, these are life lessons that we need to understand to lead a meaningful and a happy life. So, you might feel that this lecture is more like a pravachan or a bhashan, but still, thanks in advance for putting up with me throughout this lecture. I will try my best to keep this very objective and exam oriented and try to help you understand how to link a particular question with an emotion. The whole idea of this module is to analyze the types of emotions, understand the expected and rational behavior with associated with an emotion. That is, for example, you have anger. You have two choices. One is to shout, get irritated, get frustrated, and react in a violent manner. That is not a rational response. Whereas the second situation is to understand the underlying cause of the anger and find out a proper channel and get your anger addressed. That is the second way, and this is a rational behavior during anger. We are all human beings, and it is natural for us to have emotions, and in some or the other situation anybody will react in a opposite manner. But with respect to exam in the questions, our only expectation is to identify the right kind of emotion and associate it with the right kind of expected rational behavior and mark the answer. So in the first part of this module, at every topic we will understand the theory behind it, we will look at a case study and an example, then we will see some practice questions where we will apply the same theory on the practice questions as well. The entire notes that I'm using in this is posted in the app as well as our Telegram channel. Both links are provided in the description. You can download the notes and the material. Along with the notes and the material, we have also provided a practice questions PDF where the questions are graded from easy, medium to hard. In easy questions, you have one liner situation. In hard questions, especially in the graduate level examinations, there are instances where in each question multiple reactions were given and they asked us how many of these above reactions are correct. So the questions are graded in that manner from easy to medium to hard, and the practice PDF is provided. So my request for you all is, step number 1, understand the theory. Step number 2, go through the theory once and internalize the right kind of response that is needed for each emotion and for each topic. And in step number 3, simply take the practice PDF and associate each situation to the right kind of emotion and analyze which option is corresponding to which kind of emotional reaction, and then understand how you mark the right kind of answer choice. So this is the kind of practice that is needed. Given the right kind of practice, this chapter is very easy. Some of us might have found it difficult only because this is new for us and we are not aware of the syllabus that is there behind it. So, having said a very long introduction, I will get into the topic. And before that, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to my ethics teacher, Mudit Jain sir, ex IRS and ex IPS officer, from whom I learned ethics, and emotional values is one very important chapter in ethics. And because of his teachings, I was able to score 110, 115 in two mains exams that I have cleared in the past. And I will be utilizing the same background knowledge, and I will be applying that knowledge to the reasoning topic. Ideally, till today, anytime when a student asks me about reasoning, every time the excuse I gave them is that reasoning is very easy, especially in SSC exams. You don't have to worry about reasoning, but this is the time we understand critical and analytical reasoning. So, with this long lecture, let us get into the topic. The topic that we are talking today is analytical reasoning. The syllabus is in two parts: emotional intelligence and critical thinking. Emotional intelligence is about your reaction to various situations, which is also known as situation reaction or situational judgment. Whereas critical thinking is all about assumptions, inference, conclusion, and the right kind of action that we take based on any scenario or a situation. So, as I told you, emotional intelligence or EI, the syllabus is divided into three modules. First module is the basics module. It is about understanding emotions, being self aware, and regulating the emotions. The second module is to understand the values of EI: sympathy, empathy, motivation, honesty versus integrity, morality versus legality. This is your second module. In the third module, we will understand the application of this emotional intelligence in various situations: stress handling, peer pressure, team behavior, and sociality. So, in these scenarios, they are giving you one liner to two liner case studies or situations, and they're asking you what kind of reaction you give in this kind of a scenario. So, this is the theory behind it. So, in the first module, first chapter, it is all about understanding what is an emotion and what is emotional intelligence. So, the first step is about understanding emotions. Emotions per se is all about inner reactions to a particular situation. For example, we might feel sad at a situation, we might feel angry at a situation, we might feel happy at a situation. So, understanding emotions is the first step in learning emotional intelligence and controlling emotions. So, the first step is to understand and give a name to the emotion. For example, you are not feeling okay. You are very sad, you are very angry at a particular instance that happened in your house or it happened with your peers. There are two choices. First choice is to simply feel that I am feeling bad, I am not okay. That is a first choice. There, you are not understanding the emotions. The second choice is you recognize that there is a friction that happened. So you are either angry or you are sad, you are dissatisfied. So the ideal way is to understand what happened and to recognize the right kind of emotion. That is the first step of emotional intelligence. So the first step is to understand and recognize an emotion and give a right name to the emotion, so that once you give a right name to it and recognize it, then you can take the necessary steps that are needed in that situation. So the emotion is all about inner reaction. For example, there was a protest that was held a couple of days ago. SSC's response was not satisfactory and there was police action. Now we have two choices. One is to feel bad and depressed for this kind of situation. Second is to understand and recognize what this emotion is. So this is a mix of anger, sadness, and helplessness, along with empathy for the protesters. So this is a mix of all these four emotions, and the first step is to understand and recognize and give a name to this emotion, rather than saying that I am not feeling bad, this is not okay, I am not happy at this moment. So this is not the way. The way is to recognize and give a name for this emotion. So to understand any emotion, first step is to recognize it, second step is to give a name to it, then the third step is to understand and analyze the cause behind the emotion. So the various emotions that we know are sadness, happiness, anger, fear, surprise, hatred, love, etc. So our objective in the first step is to understand what is the emotion and give an emotional name to it. And the second thing that we need to understand in the first module, that is understanding emotions, is number one, no emotion is bad. Let it be anger, let it be sadness, let it be depression. No emotion is bad. There is nothing like good or bad emotion. All we have are emotions. Both are common in life. Anger is common, fear is common, everything is common. There is nothing like a negative emotion, positive emotion, or a bad and a good emotion. The second thing is, emotion always doesn't mean actions. Emotion is different, action is different. The barrier that lies between emotion and action is known as emotional intelligence. If we have emotional intelligence, we will not act as per the emotion, we will act as per the cause of the emotion. So this is known as emotional intelligence. So every emotion is not action. Anger doesn't mean violence, fear doesn't mean cowardness or stepping back, sadness doesn't mean depression. So emotion is not action, and no emotion is bad. Please understand, these are the keywords that are necessary for you to understand and mark the options in the exams. For example, they will give you a scenario and they will ask you which of the following are the reactions. So there, if it is related to understanding emotions, your keyword is recognize. If the answer choice says it is bad, then the answer choice is wrong. So these keywords are given in your options: understanding emotion, recognize emotion, call it in this manner. Or in the options, they will tell you this is the emotion, so this is the action. Such options are wrong. So there are no bad emotions. All emotions does not mean actions. Anger is not shouting, anger is not violence. So the first step in emotional management is about understanding emotions. So I hope the meaning of understanding emotions is very clear. The summary is that the first step of emotional intelligence is all about understanding an emotion. No emotion is bad. There is no emotion which is good. Both are same, and emotion is not action. So now let us practice some questions on this topic and see what kind of questions are being asked. So this is your theory notes. Once the class is completed, please go through this theory. This theory is very easy to understand. Now I'm explaining you the practice questions that are given in the same notes. This notes is available in Siddhi SSC RRB channel or Siddhi app. You can download. In the next couple of days, maybe in the next 3 to 4 days, we will give you quizzes based on critical thinking and analytical reasoning as well. So the first question, the case says that you feel a tight chest and a rapid heartbeat before your interview. What should you do? Based on the first chapter that we studied, this is about emotional intelligence. So the first step that you need to know is to understand what emotion you are going through. Look at the first answer choice. These are the keywords. Ignore it. This is wrong. Third answer choice. Blame the panel. Emotion is not equal to action. So blame is wrong. Cancel the interview out of fear. Again, fear is the emotion, cancel the interview is the action. Emotion is not equal to action. Whereas if you look at the third answer choice, there it is clear that understand. You are anxious. So you are understanding the emotion, you are giving a name to it, that is anxiety, and you are taking deep breaths, that is action. So whenever there is a question on emotions, your option should be in such a manner that you understand the emotion, you give a name to it, then you act accordingly. So answer choice 2 is correct. This is how you have to think when you're handling these kind of questions. Second question, you feel sad when you're scrolling through social media. What does this show? The question is about you are feeling sad. Your feeling sad is an action when you are doing or when you are scrolling through a social media. So this is the case that is given to you. So they gave you an action and they are asking you what does this show, which means they are trying to ask you what is this kind of emotion, what is this kind of emotion, what is your reaction, what is happening in this scenario. So if you see, first thing, you are too sensitive. As I told you, emotion is not equal to action. You are feeling sad doesn't mean you are sensitive. Sensitiveness does not translate into sadness. So this is wrong. Second, emotions are random and unpredictable. This is absolutely wrong statement. The first thing that we have understood is that emotions are a result of an action that is happening. So emotions are not unpredictable. Emotions are predictable. Emotions are not random. Third, you are emotionally weak. Again, weakness is not same as feeling sadness. Emotion is not equal to action. So what is the right answer choice? You are reacting emotionally to what you are seeing. This is what you are understanding, the cause behind your emotion. You are feeling sad, so the cause behind it is you are reacting emotionally because of what you are seeing. So in any question like this, your objective is to pick up a right kind of answer choice, which helps you to understand whether you are recognizing the emotion or not, or you are talking about the underlying cause, right? So this is the second question. Third question, during a group task you often get irritated because your opinion is being ignored. Here you have the case where you have the cause and you have a reaction which is wrong ideally. So the question is, what is the emotionally intelligent step? In the exam, they may not give you the word emotionally intelligent and they will ask you, what do you do? This might be the question. So during the group task, you're getting irritated because your opinion is being ignored. The cause in this particular case is that you are being ignored. So the right kind of answer choice that you need to know is that step number one, you recognize your emotion. Second thing, act accordingly. Now let us try to answer this question with the help of keywords. Keyword number one, shout, which is wrong. Keyword is suppress the feeling, which is wrong. Recognize your emotion, express calmly. Recognize is the keyword, yes. So in emotional intelligence based questions, there are two ways. One way is to understand what an emotion is and understand what are the causes behind it, understand the values of the emotions, and act accordingly. Pick an answer choice which a rational human being would do. If it is difficult to understand all this theory and link these questions to a theory, one other way is to identify these based on keywords. So for emotional intelligence or understanding emotional intelligence questions, the keywords are you understand, you recognize, you act calmly. So these are certain keywords. So you will pick up an answer choice which is related to these keywords if you are not able to match the case with a relevant emotion. Next question, do you feel jealous of your friend's achievement? So friend's achievement is the cause and jealousy is the negative reaction that you are doing. What is the best way to handle it? The best way to handle it is to understand what emotion it is and react accordingly, right? So first is cut ties with the friend, which is wrong, which is absolutely an extreme statement, so it is wrong. Pretend you are happy is wrong. Ignoring feelings is also wrong. Emotional intelligence never tells us to suppress our feelings or pretend anything. It always tells us to be what we are. Emotional intelligence always tries to tell us how we have to react emotionally rather than, or how we control our emotions rather than talking about how we ignore what we are thinking. Next, publicly downplay their success. This is also absolutely wrong. So accept the feeling and use it as a motivation. There you are accepting that this is right and what he does is because of his hard work. And if that kind of hard work gives the achievement or the success, even I should do the same. That has to be a reaction. Now in the last question, you're feeling blank and restless before a test. What should you do first? The first step is to understand that you are feeling anxious. So the first step is to recognize. In the answer choices, search for the word recognize and answer it. Even in that manner, you can handle the questions that are there with respect to emotions. And this is the first part of this module, that is understanding the emotions. The next part that we are going to study in this module is about self awareness. In life, in any kind of scenarios, self-awareness is extremely important. Self-awareness, as the word says, is being aware of what we are. It is about understanding how we react in a particular scenario. For example, I usually get irritated if my studio elements or my studio equipment doesn't work properly when I get into the studio. If I am self aware of this, then when I come into the studio and I want to record a class, if the equipment is not working properly, I will not shout at my colleagues. What I will do is that I will try to understand what is the problem associated with it. If I am not self aware that if this happens, if the equipment is malfunctioning, I will shout out on my colleague. If I'm aware of this, I will not do this. If I am not aware of this, I will be impulsive. I will shout at him. I will disturb the environment. The problem doesn't get solved and it does not help in any manner. So, even for life, the important quality that we need to have is self awareness. Same thing is necessary even in handling emotional intelligence also. So in emotional intelligence, self awareness is all about understanding how we react to a particular situation, so that we take a pause at that moment and regulate ourselves. So emotional intelligence is all about three steps. First step is you understand an emotion and recognize it, give a name to it. Second is have self awareness, understand how you would react to a situation, and don't do that if you know that it is negative. The third step is to self regulate. When you are aware of what you are doing, then you will definitely regulate yourself and you will not do that thing. So, these are the steps that are there in emotional intelligence, and these are the keywords that you see in your options as well. So, self awareness is about knowing about who I am, right? I know myself, and now I know how an emotion affects me. So self awareness is all about observing the emotions and understanding my reaction towards the emotions. If I am a self aware candidate, I will analyze my strengths and weaknesses. In the example that I told you, if I am self aware that I am impulsive towards malfunctioning of an equipment, then I will understand that this is wrong. The malfunctioning of equipment may not be a issue which is caused by my colleague. It might be because of electronics issue, it might be because of certain things which are not in his hand as well. So I should not vent out my anger at him. So here I am analyzing that venting out my anger in certain important scenarios is my weakness. There I have to understand how I behave. If I am a self aware person, my response will be improved. Whereas if I am not self aware, I will misjudge someone, I will blame them, I will do something because of which I might have to regret later. For example, because of no mistake of his, if there is an equipment malfunctioning in the studio, I come to the studio, I shout at him, then when I go out, he might be in a bad mood and he might be handling certain things which are extremely important, and that will get affected, and end of the day both of us are at a loss. So this is known as self awareness. We will understand this with the help of a personal case study or an example. When I was asked to run for the first time with a rucksack of around 40 kgs and enough load of around 5 kgs in the hands, it was very difficult for me. I was worried, I was sad, and I knew that I might not be able to run. And to be honest, I couldn't complete it as well in the first round. I have two scenarios. One is not being self aware, and the other is being self aware. If I am self aware that I am weak at running, in the past instances when I ran without a rucksack as well, I faced a lot of difficulties. I found it extremely difficult to complete it. If I am aware of myself, then all I would do is I would seek the help of my course mates. I would seek the help of my buddy. I will take motivation from them and I will tell them that ki, yeah, I am not confident of completing this run. I want you to push me when I am stopping. So, in that way, we will act as a team and we will complete the run. If I am not self aware, if I don't realize my weakness, then I will act out of anxiety, I will act out of frustration, and I will start blaming the training style and the training mechanism. I will question that is this kind of run even necessary, and I will start calling my ustads as jallads and whatever and whatnot. So these are the two kinds of reactions that it can happen. So if you are self-aware, you will understand what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, and you will act accordingly. This is all about self-awareness. Now we will practice some questions on self-awareness. See the first question. You are constantly getting irritated during team tasks. You are getting irritated constantly. What is a self-aware step? So you are getting irritated. If you are self-aware, then you will understand why you are getting irritated and you will act accordingly. So will you complain about the team? No. If you are self-aware, you will not complain. First step in self-awareness is to observe and understand yourself and understand the reason behind it. So observe your behavior and identify why you are reacting in this manner. You will not withdraw from teamwork, and this is an extreme statement, and this is a trap statement in emotional intelligence questions. In the question, they will give a statement such as pretend that nothing is wrong and continue. This is an absolutely wrong statement. This in no question this statement would be right. Next question. After an argument, you think I was right, but I was too aggressive. What does this show? This shows that you are self introspecting, which also means that you are self aware. So this is self awareness. Next, you are feeling nervous before a presentation. What is the way to respond? In the questions, they might not give you what is a self aware way to respond. They will not link the case to the emotional value that is there or the emotional step that is needed. So based on what you have studied till now, if you are feeling nervous before a presentation, step number one is to understand. You understood that you are feeling nervous. Now you are recognizing your emotion. Then you will say that this nervousness is because I am anxious. I am feeling anxiety. I have fear. So I am feeling nervous. And the next step is that you will practice self confidence. You will stand in front of a mirror and you will talk till you feel confident. You might stand on a table and you talk, you shout in front of people, shout as in you talk loudly and confidently, and you will practice confidence, and that way you will improve yourself. So the self aware step is to understand that you are scared and you will practice more. So the other answer choices, that is, I will always fail at this, others are better, I should quit, it is not my fault, all these answer choices are wrong. So this is the self-aware step. Next, you yell at a classmate and later you feel guilty. What will you do? This is your question. What will you do? If you yell at a classmate and you are feeling guilty, obviously the first step is to introspect or be or act like a self-aware person. You will understand why you did it. Then you will go to the person and you will obviously apologize. So you reflect on why you lost control and you will apologize instead of ignoring it or justifying your yelling. Next, you keep procrastinating. Which thoughts of these reflect self awareness? So, self awareness is about understanding why you are doing this. Usually in life, we do procrastinate because of fear. We procrastinate things when we are afraid that we will not complete this. We usually prepare targets, we prepare schedules, but we end up not implementing them only because we are fearful of the size of the target. So the usual reason for procrastination is that we procrastinate because we fear failure. This is the answer. So I'm just lazy is not right, I never get things done is not right, and others do the same, it's normal. This is absolutely wrong again. In any question of emotional intelligence, calling it normal, calling it okay is always a wrong answer choice. Now comes the third topic. Once you understood your emotions, once you're self aware of what you are, the next step is to self regulate your emotions. Self regulation is all about pause, think, and respond. Never act in the heat. In the heat, we might think of hundreds of things, we might think of doing n number of things, but we end up doing a disaster. For example, in Hyderabad, there was an instance in one famous biryani house a couple of years ago where the customer asked for raita and the server reacted aggressively and it ended up in a murder. Server lost his life and the victim died, the family lost everything. So this is the problem. This is a kind of scenario that you will face if you do not regulate your emotions. So the third and most important, in fact the final step of emotional intelligence, is about understanding emotions, self aware, and the most important step is to regulate everything. There is no point of life at all. There is no purpose for this life if you do not regulate your emotions. You know that you are angry, you know that you will hit a person harder if you are angry, and you also know that you are a professional boxer, you are a trained martial artist. Then do you regulate your anger, or you vent out your anger and hit and damage the other person and finally invite consequences upon to yourself? Obviously, when you are aware that you are extremely strong, you are a martial artist, you are a boxer, you will regulate your anger and you will not hit the person, and you will try to calm down the situation. So this is all about regulating the emotions. Emotional management is about understanding emotions, self awareness of strengths, weaknesses, and reactions, and self regulation as well. Self regulation, please understand, self regulation is not about suppression of emotions. Both are completely different. Self regulation is to pause, not act in the heat, think what is the reason for it, and act in a manner that the underlying cause and the reason are addressed. So, self regulation is to pause, think, and react. It is all about staying calm under pressure. This is not the same as suppressing emotions. There are so many people who suppress their emotions, saying that the society is not right, the environment around me is not right, nobody will understand me. That is absolutely wrong. Nobody needs to understand you. You need to be self aware of yourself. Nobody will come, hold your hand, and take you to the finale stage. You have to get upon yourself, you have to walk by yourself, and you have to reach your summits. So, emotional management and self regulation is not about controlling your emotions or suppressing your emotions. If you suppress your emotions and start pretending normally, emotions will eventually pent up and it will lead to it will lead to mental health problems. It might even lead to depression, or it might make you a completely aggressive person. So suppressing emotions is not the thing. This is also a keyword. Please understand, I am not giving a live pravachan at this point of time. I am trying to teach this topic for exams only. And all these words, ignore, suppress, leave it, it's okay, walk away, remain quiet, don't do anything, these are your trap options. So these kind of words are in your options. If you see these options, they are wrong. So with respect to emotions and self regulation, self regulation is not same as suppressing your emotions. For example, you went to CGL exam, everyone knows we have a new vendor and there are a lot of issues that are happening, especially with respect to the center management and infrastructural management. Now you went to CGL examination and the same kind of issues happened again. There are two steps. First step is to use emotional intelligence and react accordingly. Second step is to not use emotional intelligence and act based on the emotions. If we are acting out of emotions, we will feel angry, we will feel frustrated, we will try to shout at them, we will try to make a fuss there. Eventually, in the final step, we are not achieving anything there in the examination hall. That is absolutely wrong. If we are self aware, the first step is we will understand that yes, I am feeling angry because of the infrastructural issues. Then you will think, in this moment, in this examination center, in the next 60 minutes, do I have anything in my hands that I can change? You will understand and you will realize that you cannot change anything. Then you will calm down and you will focus on giving your best in the worst scenario. Whatever best you can give, you will give, you will come home. What is wrong, what is right, what should be done, what should not be done is for the next step and the next discussion. But in those 60 minutes, in that examination hall, at that moment, you will definitely not give a damn for whatever is happening around you if you apply emotional intelligence and if you are aware of the right thing and the wrong thing to do. So this is all about self regulation and emotion. If you are self regulated, you will not be impulsive, you will not do any regrettable actions, And if you are self regulated, you will pause, you will think, you will react, and you will maintain calm under pressure. So, the overall summary for this entire topic of the first module, that is the basics of emotional intelligence, is that in any situation where the question is about emotion and the corresponding reaction, in such case study, the first step is to understand what is the emotion, recognize it, give a name to it. Next, you understand, you be self aware of how you would react in this kind of a scenario, and you regulate yourselves. Your action should be based on the reasons and the underlying causes and the final effect, your final goals that you need, rather than the emotional based reactions. There are certain keywords that you need to know here. One, emotion is not same as action. There are no good and bad emotions, all are emotions. Every emotion has a corresponding reaction. Self awareness is one keyword. Ignore, suppress are the keywords where your answers are trap and you should not mark those answers. Now let us practice some questions of this topic, that is about self regulation, in this module. So the first question: your sibling blames you unfairly in front of others. This is your scenario. Your sibling is blaming in front of others. Now the underlying emotion related to it is you will feel angry. Once you start feeling angry, the next step is self awareness. You know that if you are angry, you might shout back, you will react violently. So the self regulatory step is you calm down. You don't react at that moment in front of everyone, because end of the day she is your sibling or he is your sibling. So you will talk to her in private. See, if you are leaving it there and you are not talking to your sibling in private, that is suppression of emotion. That is also wrong. So self regulation is about being calm in front of everyone, and in private you talk to them and you convey them that whatever you have done is wrong and I am offended by it. So this is a self regulatory step. So yell back is wrong. Stay silent is also wrong, because this is about suppression of emotions. Try and leave the place is wrong, because you are acting out of anger and sadness, whereas emotion is not equivalent to action. So stay calm and address it privately later. So this is the reaction. In the questions they will not give you what is a self-regulated reaction, but this is a theory notes. So I have given you the kind of keywords as well. Next, during an interview, a panel member is rude to you. What is the right kind of reaction? So the action that happened is a panel member is rude to you. The underlying emotions are: one, you will start feeling nervous, you will start feeling sad. These are the two kind of underlying emotions. You will not start feeling bad. Feeling bad is not about understanding an emotion. When you understand and recognize an emotion, you need to give a name to it, and the emotions that you have here are nervousness and sadness. Now you know that when you are nervous and sad, you will feel depressed and you will not act properly. That is being self aware. The next thing is self regulation. So when you start feeling nervous and you are self regulated, you can regulate your nervousness, then you will calm down, you will take a deep breath, then you will take a second pause, and you will respond and you will give the right kind of answer that is expected for the question. You will not focus on the rudeness of the panel member, because once you get the job and once you get selected, you might not even see the face of that panel member ever in your entire career. So you will not react to the rudeness. You will understand the panel member's question and you will answer to the question if you are a self-regulated person. So respond with equal rudeness is absolutely wrong, because emotion is not equal to action. Ignoring is wrong. Ignore is the keyword. Ignore is wrong. Complain immediately the HR is also wrong, because you are not in the company yet, and in the interview they might be subjecting you to a stress test, because they want to test your composure as well. So you will take a deep breath, you will maintain composure, and you will definitely respond politely, because that is an interview and you are aware that in an interview polite response is absolutely necessary. Next is you feel like quitting an preparation because of a burnout. What is a regulated step? You felt you're burnt out, you wanna quit, seeing all these situations around you start feeling hopeless. Then what will you do? First way is that you quit immediately, which is also wrong, or you sleep all day, or you don't do anything at all, which is also wrong. So the right thing is that you will take a break. You will understand why I am burnt out. You might be burnt out because you have prepared an exhaustive list of targets and you are not finishing your targets. Your targets are not being realistic, so you were not able to complete, so you started feeling negative, you started feeling incomplete, and that eventually led to burnt outness. That could be one reason. Or you might not have taken a right break at the right moment, so you were working consistently, your productivity dropped down and you started feeling exhausted. So these are various kind of reasons behind being burnt out. You will analyze the reasons, then you will reflect, you will take a break, and you will make a realistic schedule, because you have realized that the schedule that you have prepared is not realistic at all. So this kind of scenario, or this happens even in our preparation also. We prepare an exhaustive list of goals, we prepare a very long list, and we end up completing nothing. Eventually we feel dejected and we feel depressed, and we feel that I cannot do this anymore, I cannot complete this anymore. So the final example that is here for us is, your friend is interrupting you when you're your friend is interrupting you when you're speaking. How do you regulate your anger? So the emotion here is anger. Whenever anger is there, the right kind of regulation is to stay calm, stay composed. So you will wait for your turn and you will tell him, do not interrupt me. So let's say he is consistently interrupting you. The next moment when you are talking, you will politely tell them that I am feeling problematic to continue talking when you are interrupting me. So please don't talk when I am speaking. This is your self-regulated, self-aware reaction. So this is the entire module of critical reasoning, or analytical reasoning in the first step. In the next module, we will look at various values related to emotions and the corresponding questions. This is the first time I am teaching reasoning ever in my life. I request you to give me a good feedback. A feedback. Let it be genuine. Let it be good, bad, whatever it is. Please share your feedbacks, and based on that, we will improvise. Thank you so much for watching this class till the end. Keep preparing. All the best.